Hey, it's Kutski here. I've just been sent a new crossfader through the post for my mixer. It's called the InnoFader, as you can see. Specialised crossfader for DJ mixers, for DJs that like to scratch, and obviously I'm a scratch DJ, so very interested in this product. I use the DJM900 from Pioneer at the moment, which has got a great crossfader on it as it is, but you know, for very specialist scratch DJs, you know, there's a lot of different settings on it. Like, you want to be able to alter how stiff the crossfader is when you move it. You also want to be able to change how sharp the sound cuts in, how far you have to move the crossfader before it cuts in, and you know, all of these settings are apparently available on this new completely customizable fader. And they sent me this through the post, so it'd be rude not to have a little go of it and see what it's all about. Just for full disclosure, I'm not being paid to do the video. They did send me this for free just to have a go and let them know what I think, but I'm not being paid in any way, and you know, this isn't kind of going to be a biasedly positive review or even a how to install guide, because you're going to see me installing the fader, and if I have any problems with it or it's particularly difficult, you're going to see, and then I'll have a little scratch at the end and we'll kind of give it a neutral review. So it's unboxed, unopened as yet, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Right, let's crack it open. So 2 stickers for vinyl, obviously your 12 o'clock business. Not sure what that is, looks like something that you might use with your girlfriend more than a mixer, but I take it that's to grease the fader, as it were. That's worrying me a little bit as soon as you see wires and colours. Here we go, this is the actual replacement crossfader. You can see that, lots of cool little settings on it, little points for, take it that's where you're going to get your screwdriver in, make the adjustments, and all this is where it's going to be connected up. Looking on, I think I'm going to need the instructions. Not too complicated, to be fair. Right, but I'm going to give these a bit of a better read before we crack on, so I don't screw anything up. Okay, famous last words. The instructions look quite simple, so first thing I've got to do, I take it, is take the plate off that's got all the faders on. This is the thing with the 900, is you can't just take out the crossfader, everything's on the one big panel there. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a problem, because I know they've got these P-lock faders, which means that when you've put the fader on it, you can't pull them off, because they used to fall off in the clubs all the time. So Pioneer have got this thing which is great for not losing the faders in a club, but I don't know how that's going to work for actually changing the fader in it, so we'll find out soon enough. Nope, still not happening. Okay, right, time for a pause and a look on the internet and see if we can find out how to get this bank of faders out. Okay, I think I figured it out now. It's to do with these P-lock faders. You can't just pull them off, which is kind of good, but apparently if you get a little screwdriver and you pull off this like little white strip will pop up, and apparently then you can take the fader off. But the thing I'm worried about is getting a screwdriver underneath here and scratching the plate on the front of it, so we're going to see how this is going to go, or if it's going to... Hey, there we go. As you can see, weird little white thing, and the fader comes off. Not sure what this little thing does. Does that just come off as well? Yep. God, I'm never going to remember how to put this all back together again. Right, this might take me a while. Right, last one now, crossfader. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it, but I have noticed every one that I've taken out, there's a little scratch from the screwdriver on the faceplate of the mixer, which is not ideal really. This isn't something that you're going to want to keep doing over and over again. There we go, last one off. I don't know if there's a better tool than I'm using out there that isn't going to scratch it, but now let's see if this just comes. No, that'd be too easy, wouldn't it, if it just came off? Still stuck on with something. Right, back to YouTube. Catch you in a minute. Yeah, okay, you've probably been screaming at the screen of why I can't get this plate off, because there's a fifth screw in the middle there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that's obviously why it's not coming off, so we'll get rid of that, and I'm assuming we're in business. I think it's like the third time I've said that now, so I don't want to count my chickens. Right, let's try again. Yeah, that's what it's about. Wow, look at that. Okay, I'm assuming these have got to come out, with this being the crossfader that we're replacing. Try the outside two first and see if the inside ones need doing or whether the whole thing will just come out. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I think this can come off the circuit board, because we're replacing it with them coloured wires at the beginning, so this should just pull off. Yep. Old fader out. And then fit the new fader just to kind of compare, so you can see the two different things. You can see the quite a big one, that, isn't it? In fact, it doesn't even look like the same part. Let's hope that's what it is for. I had a look, all them different wires that came with it are for different mixers, and apparently this is the one that I need for this. And let's see where it goes into. That's going to clip in there. Is it one way or the other? That way, I think. Give a little chap a bit of help. Right, I thought this was going to plug into there, but this has got pins and that connection's got pins, so maybe the wire from this needs to come out. I think there's a little clip on that. There we go. So we'll put that back in to the mixer's board, and then this connection should go into that one. So we've got the mixer connected, that's going to go in there like that, and there's a bit of a setup procedure now. Now it did say don't let the new fader touch the surface. I'm assuming that's because of static. So I'll just put it down on this for now and just double check what I'm doing with the instructions again. Right, I think we're ready to test it now. It says switch on the mixer, which I'm not so sure about with all the wires hanging out. And then apparently there's going to be an LED on there that goes either red or green to whether it's done right. So we're hoping for green. And I don't know if you can see that there. We've got red, which is not good, but it says turn off the mixer and turn this the other way round. And then we should have green. So round 2. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that on the camera, I don't think, but we've got a little tiny green light down there. So I think that means that it's working now. Next thing it says to do is to move this little jumper, because as you get it, it was in test mode. So you need to pull this little jumper off and move that onto the next 2, which sets it into working mode. And then technically, if I screw this back in, it should be working. So let's piece it back together. I'm assuming, is this plate not gonna fit? Maybe if we take the original plate and screw it into that instead. Okay, I've figured it out now. After about an hour playing around with the bracket that I'd found and the original bracket and still not being able to get it fit, I had a look in the box and found these 2 at the bottom, and then this one fits perfectly with the fader and on there as well. So as you can see, it's like so far there's been quite a few complicated things that have happened with it, and every single one of them has been because I've been stupid and been doing the wrong thing. So I'm guessing that this is probably more of a first thing in the morning job than a last thing at night. I mean, it's like 2 in the morning now. I've been doing it for about an hour and a half. But part of the fun, innit? And there we go, perfect fit. Just going to make sure that the faceplate goes on okay over it as well. Yeah, looking good. The only thing that's worrying me a little bit is that doesn't seem to be very high, so I'm wondering whether the fader knob's going to fall off quite easily, because obviously with this not being an official Pioneer one, it's not going to have the P-lock thing, and the last thing that you want that you get in the time all the times in the club is scratching and the actual fader knob comes off in your hand, so you end up scratching with these little stumps, which is never a good look. So, but yeah, I don't want to judge it too soon. It's like, yeah, I haven't seen it might be a perfect fit. So I'm going to get this back off again, screw it in place, and then give it a little test out. Okay, so it's all loosely pieced back together now. Not too much, because I'm going to have to take it out again to do all the calibration. So it comes with 2 little fader knobs, nice red ones as you can see, different to the white, exciting. Yeah, so get this on. Feels smooth enough. See if we've got sound. No sound. Yeah, so it actually feels really nice. A lot, well, I wouldn't say a lot smoother than the original, but definitely smoother. I don't know whether playing around with the calibration needs a little bit, because that feels a little bit loose for my liking, as you can see, just like a little knock. So, switch off the mixer again. Actually, I'm going to pull the power wire out of it. As I said, you know, that does come off quite easily in your hand, which was the brilliant thing about the P-lock thing on the Pioneer mixers. So I don't know whether you can see there, there's a tension adjust switch, and they do actually give you a nice little tool for making all your adjustments with. Very fine and accurate. So yeah, so if you line that up in the middle, change the tension to be less and more, I want more. Yeah, and that's definitely still just as smooth, but a little bit too much maybe. So I'm liking that. That's feeling good. I'll give it another go. Help if I put it in the right way. In fact, you know what? Screw putting the plate back on it. If I get electrocuted, it'll be a first on YouTube. Yeah, it's getting late. I forgot to put the power wire in. Yeah, apart from the fact that the fader's falling all over the place because it's not screwed in, that feels right to me now. I think. It's hard to tell. Maybe a bit less. Yeah, there we go. So the other two settings that you've got on it as well, the cut-in and the curve. Now you do have the curve setting on the mixer as standard on the 900, but you've got like 3 settings, which is 3 switches you've got. So as soon as you move it in a tiny little bit, the next track comes in straight away, and then all the middle is both of them on, and then you've got to be right over to the other side to cut the track out. If you have it really soft, it's like where, you know, you can gradually mix it right to the middle, you know, so it's kind of, it's working almost like the up and down faders, but for both tracks at the same time, one going up and one going down, and then you can get it in the middle so that they're both at full volume in the middle. Obviously with scratching, you just want it as sharp as possible, so it's kind of, it's just working like an on-off switch effectively, and it seemed okay there. But then the cut-in is what's quite important, because if you have it too sensitive, then it's like when you're kind of doing crab scratches and stuff, what it's going to do is it's not going to cut the sound out for long enough, so you're just going to get a very, very slight cut out with it. Whereas if you have it so, you know, so you can move it in a slight little bit but still have the sound not come in, and then a little bit further it will come in. So as an exaggeration, you could have it so it goes no sound, no sound, no sound, and then the sound cut in over here somewhere. So that's why you've got the 2 adjustments. So like I said though, what it's come with as default seems pretty accurate to me, so I guess I'm just gonna, you know, put it back together now, screw everything in so it's all nice and tight, and then we'll give it a go for some proper scratching. So, you know, like I said, these settings all seem very nice. You know, if something's not quite to your taste, you know, you can fine tune it, but it seems pretty good as standard, so let's put it back together. Right, we're all back together now. I haven't bothered putting these back on yet, just because I'm going to test it, and I've been having a little bit of a scratch. And what I have noticed is what I was on about the cut-in, so you know how far you have to move the fader in before the sound comes. It's in quite far at the moment, so if I just like scratch and move it slowly, you can see there's quite a bit of movement before the sound comes in, which means that when I'm scratching now, I'm used to it. When I'm cutting it in, if I'm not pushing it over enough, then the sound's not coming in, which it sounds a little bit sloppy. So I'm going to take it apart and I'm going to move the cut in so it's coming in even sharper. Right, yeah, I was going to do this bit off camera because I thought it might be a bit long-winded, but is it something that you're going to have to do? Let's see how long it takes, bearing in mind that I haven't screwed everything in super tight. Take the plate off again. This has got to be unscrewed again. See, one of the things that does worry me about, you know, you could put this amazing crossfader in the mixer that's absolutely amazing for scratching, but then get very used to it and then not be as good as you could be normally when it comes to using a club, because you've got to bear in mind it's only going to be on your home mixer. This, it's not going to be in the clubs, even though they may have the same mixer. Obviously it's not going to have the same fader anymore, which is a problem that I had in the past when I used to use a lot of scratch mixers. And then, you know, I could do amazing tricks at home for YouTube videos, but then when it came to actually going out into a club, you know, they'd always have, you know, Pioneer DJM900 or 600 back in the day. So that was when I first, you know, moved over from kind of, you know, from battle scratch mixers to more traditional mixers, because then I could learn how to do tricks on it, and I might not be able to do as wild stuff, but what I could do, I'd then be able to do in the clubs as well. So this is nice because I'm, you know, got the same mixer that I would be using in a club anyway, but with a nicer fader for scratching at home. But it does make me think, will I become too reliant on it and, you know, kind of maybe not sound so good live. So this is the cut-in, and it's saying turn it clockwise for less lag, and it's pretty sharp as it is, so I might even go, tell you what, I'm just going to go right the way in. So this is as, how do they describe it, as least lag as possible. So that should mean as soon as it touches anything off it, you should get sound straight away, which might be a little bit overkill, but we'll give it a go. So bung this back in. As you can see, all that kind of thing that it said about not making it touch a metal surface and all this stuff because of static. Once you've been fannying around with it for a little bit, you kind of can't be bothered, to be honest. So gotta be careful, because this is going to be coming in and out quite a lot by the looks of it, certainly until I get it right. So I don't want to wear out the frets on the screws, because if it gets stuck in, it's not going to be a good look. Okay, plate on again, and fader knob on again, and turn on and plug in. That's much more to my liking, I think, that. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm doing a bit shit scratching with that, that's because the camera tripod is actually on the CD player down there, so a bit cack-handed here, but yeah, I like that, it's nice. Right, so I think I'm happy enough with the settings as they are now. So I'm just going to reassemble it. I'll show you me putting together one of these faders just in case it's a real ball ache. So I think this, does it clip on there? No. There we go. So that's that on. And this only goes on one way apparently. So if that's all clipped together. Maybe that's the wrong way. Should have paid a bit more of attention when I took them off to see which way round it was. or maybe, hang on a minute. So I'll go on without it. There we go, and then voila, and locked. Right, I'm not going to make you sit through all of them. Okay, we're all pieced together now. As you can see it from before. All working good, I'm happy with that one. But what I didn't test before I put it all back together was this deck, which for some reason now it seems to be a little bit hit and miss. Like the fader there, I don't know if you can see properly, he's right over and it's still playing the sound. It's like if you play around you can get it to go off. And I think that's what I was saying before about it being oversensitive. But the problem is I've gone and stuck all the faders back on, screwed everything back in before I've realised this, so I won't lie, that's pissed me off a little bit. But I'm going to have to take it apart now and kind of move that adjustment back a little bit. Yeah, so see you on the other side. Right, we're all stripped down again. Now, I think I know what the problem is. If you'll have a look on it, there's a calibration setting here, which I didn't do. So it says what you do is you have the fader all the way to the left, which it is now, slide it to the right and punch the calibrate button, and then slide it all the way back to the left again and hit the calibrate button again. And apparently that's now going to tell the fader, so it knows when it's all the way to the left and it knows when it's all the way to the right. So again, yeah, user error. So let's put it all back together again and see what happens. Okay, we're back to the fully assembled mixer now, and all seems good, to be honest. Went through the calibration thing and had a little play around with some of the settings again, which made a bit of a difference. A little bit more comfortable for scratching, but I guess that's kind of the point of this crossfader really, is that you can, you know, go in there, customize it and tweak it, and you're going to have a few teething problems with setting it up, but once you get it right for how you feel is, you know, kind of perfect for you, you've got the perfect crossfader. It's, you know, it's the idea of it really. So we'll test out the left deck now, make sure it's working okay. Seems okay to me. And the right deck. Seems spot on. So just have a little jam out on it now, test it out, and see what I think of it actually in use. Right, so we're about done then. Must have taken about 2 hours in total, I think. It must have probably felt a lot longer for you watching me do it. But yeah, at least you know the process that it went through. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing before, and I'm not an instruction manual person, so I'm more like, you know, kind of just get the screwdriver out and start plugging away, and I muddled my way through it. I think you'll see all the way through it, you know, all the things that were annoying me and the things that took some time fitting it and setting it up were all my own mistake from either not thinking properly or not reading the instructions. So yeah, it was kind of, it's a very, very nice crossfader. There's, you know, there's no doubt in that at all. Do you need it? If you're a, you know, a real die-hard scratch DJ and you want your own perfect fader for your own mixer of your choice, then yeah, it is definitely worth it. But if it's just, you know, if you're just a normal mixing DJ, I'd certainly say not worth it. That's not the market it's aimed for whatsoever. And if you know, just kind of like a little bit of scratching now and again, you know, it's up to you whether you want to drop the money on it. It's not cheap, it's about £100, but you know, you're getting this pro quality custom fader, and like, you know, there isn't many DJs out there that are, you know, that dedicated to scratching, so you know, you've got to expect if you want a real niche product, you're going to get a price tag to match. So I certainly don't think that it's overpriced at all. Will it make you better at scratching? No, it's not gonna, you know, kind of, you're not gonna get this fader and all of a sudden be, you know, cutting up tricks and that. It's nice for performance, and it, you know, it feels a lot better than some standard mixers faders, you know, definitely. But you know, you're not going to get this, put it in and all of a sudden become Cuba overnight. My main concern with it for me personally is I don't want to get too reliant on something that's not going to be in the clubs. Most of the clubs that I play in now have 900s, and I'm always used to scratching at home on the 900 fader. So now I'm thinking to myself, when I take, you know, myself off to a club and I'm scratching on it, is it going to feel different? And then am I going to sound worse than I would have, if that makes any sense? You know, kind of because you get used to the tool, which was the whole idea of me moving from battle mixers in the first place, as I mentioned earlier. So only time will tell with that, but I'm certainly very happy with it. I mean, obviously I've got the opportunity to swap it back, and I'm not going to do that. So, you know, I really do like it. It's nicer because I can customise it to exactly what I want. You know, I can get the tension right, the cut off right. And if it was down to me, actually, as I mentioned at the beginning, you know, I got sent it for free. If it was down to me to drop the money on it, I think I would. You know, if they said send it back or give us the money, you know, not that the guys are going to do that, but I think, yeah, I'd definitely, for the crossfader, I'd pay the money to upgrade, because I make a lot of videos and I'm really, you know, heavily into the scratching. So I think it's a good product. It's not going to be for everyone. It's not meant to be for everyone, but yeah, it definitely gets the Kutski thumbs up. Thanks for watching the video, and hope I didn't bore you to death. I'll see you on another one, hopefully a bit more interesting soon.